In today's daily market analysis, we'll look at the indexes and what is the action on the indexes. We'll look at the underlying buying and selling pressure in the market in terms of number of stocks which are participating in a move. We'll also look at 4 buy ideas and 12 short ideas based on the action in the market today. These are primarily for swing traders. Uh, these are not for investors. These are ideas for people who are trading 3 to 5 days kind of a time frame. So let's look at the stock market today. And when you look at the stock market today, what you'll see is that the indexes were up marginally, like you had the Dow Jones, which is up 0.7%, 0.017%. Then you have Nasdaq 100, which was up 0.26%, and S&P, which was up around 0.12%, while the small cap index was down 0.5%. And while the action in the indexes was positive, what you have to look at every day, or what I look at every day, is the underlying buying or selling pressure. Because if more stocks are participating in the move, then that's a strong move. If less stocks are participating, then it's not a very strong move. And one of the ways of looking at it is looking at the percentage of stocks which are participating in any move. T2107 is basically an indicator which comes in TC 2000, and it shows you number of stocks which were above, percentage of stocks which are above 200-day moving average. So you have 61% of the stocks about 200-day moving average. So we are still in a bullish kind of a territory. And T2108 is basically more sensitive. It looks at percentage of stocks which are trading above their 40-day moving average, and that is at around 58%. But if you see the trend of it in the last 3 days, it has been going down after making a high of around 71%. So that tells you that from 71 to 50, 60 or 58, some stocks have gone down below their 40-day moving average, or they are downtrending on a 40-day period. And if you look at the NYSE, it was also up marginally, and similarly the composite index was up marginally, and the total market index, which is the index of all stocks trading in the market, was up marginally. So this is as far as the indexes is concerned. But as I keep saying, that we don't make money out of indexes, we make money out of individual setups and individual stocks. So let's look at the underlying buying and selling pressure which was there in the market today. And in order to find that, what you can do is you can look at a spreadsheet which I maintain, and you can see that on my public website, where if you go, you will always see that there is a tab called MM, and on that tab you can see the data which I post every day, and you'll also see historical data from many years which I've been maintaining. So if you go to the public blog, you will see that MM tab will show you a table which is something like this, and in this table daily the number of stocks which are participating in different kind of moves, like number of stocks which are making a 4% move, or 25% move, or 50% move, or stocks which are up 13% in 34 days. Those are all calculated to see what is the underlying buying or selling pressure. So if you look at today, what you see is 83 stocks were up 4% plus, while 145 stocks were down 4% plus. And this is the way we calculate it, is based on the stock has to be up 4%, and also volume has to be greater than yesterday's volume. So if you see, what does it tell you? It tells you that there were more sellers than buyers in terms of number of breakouts or breakdown happening in the market. And this is coming in after just one up day, which was marginal up day with 96 stocks up. So 2 days where there was a selling which was happening. And if you look at the number of stocks up 25%, this is a very on a daily basis you're looking at, while you're looking at a larger moves in the market, basically, like, are there large moves happening in the market? So this looks at stocks which are up 25% in a quarter, or 25% in 65 trading days, and you'll see that 567 stocks were up 25% in a quarter, while 420 were down. And the spread between this is not very large currently, while you have to always look at the trend overall. And if you see, like, we started the beginning of the year with around 1500 stocks, 1582 were up 25%, and now today we have around 567, and in between it dipped a little. So what it tells you is that there are not many big moves happening in the market. Similarly, number of stocks which are up 25% in a month, because those are the kind of stocks, the momentum stocks, is where short-term swing traders look for ideas in terms of both longs and shorts, and you'll see that 56 stocks were up and say 37 were down. And again, that figure by itself doesn't tell you anything unless you look at it in a context. And if you look at it in a context, you will see that you had 529 stocks which are up 25% in a month on 5th of December, while today you have just like 56 stocks up. Similarly, you're looking at number of stocks which are up 50% in a month. So 6 stocks were up 50% in a month, and 6 stocks were down 50% in a month. And again, you have to look at it in the context, and you'll see that like here, you had like 39, 43, 42. So there are many stocks making big moves during this particular period, and now not many stocks are participating in the move. Similarly, this looks at half of this, like this calculates 25% in a quarter, while this looks at that's a 65 days or 67 days, while this looks at 13% move in 34 days. So it's like more sensitive, and you'll see that 814 stocks are up 13% in 34 days, while 561 are down. So that's and it also tracks S&P and T2108. Basically, it gives you a picture of underlying buying and selling pressure, and you will also see during the day on the member site every 20 minutes or every half an hour there is a running total of these figures which are posted, which basically calculates intraday based on a projected volume how many stocks are up 4% and 4%. So you can get a fairly decent idea within the first half an hour or 1 hour whether the market is whether there's a buying pressure in the market or a selling pressure in the market. So that's what the Stockbee bot does. Now all this information, if you have to find, you can find it under the tab here, and you'll also find data starting from 2007 onward on this particular spreadsheet. So the market monitor is basically a breadth indicator which tells you which are the good periods for trading short-term swing trading methods and which are the periods where follow through is likely to be an issue. So what you'll see is that currently, like for 3-4 days, there was good follow through. Now again, you're finding that breakouts are not necessarily having good follow through. And a classic example of the stock which we bought yesterday, it was up 7.5% in the morning but ended up giving up the gains. Similarly, the remaining 2 or 3 trades also similar thing happened. So basically the stocks break out but they fade the move during the day. So that means like if your gains in the morning, you need to be very quick in terms of getting the gains. So that's as far as the market is concerned, and the underlying buying and selling pressure. The implication of that is really that breakouts are not necessarily working the way they should be. Look, the stock breaks out, it makes 4 or 5 days of move and goes up 8, 20 to 30%. This stock did go up 7.5%, but then it faded. So in that context, you have to be more selective, or you have to tactically change your tactics in terms of where to take profits. So let's look at some of the buy and sell idea, and what we are going to look at is basically 4 buy ideas and I think 12 short ideas. Now these are based on the scans which I run, and many of these scans I have shared extensively on the public blog. If you look at all these posts on the side bar, you will see all these things are basically will show you the same how to find some of these kind of stocks. So let's look at basically the setups, and when you look at the setups, you'll find that you have the airlines or the United Continental Holding. Now, one of the good things about this particular stock, I personally don't really like buying stocks which do not have an established momentum, and established momentum is when this is in the green territory basically, or the trend intensity is of 105. But here is a stock which is in a long-term range for last couple of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and it is trying to break out on volume, and the stock has digested so much negative news. There's so much negative news on the stock, but it didn't really affect the stock. So that's a characteristic of a very strong stock, or stock which is not really being sold by players. So this is a potential to have 2 to 3 days of follow through, or even probably 8 to 10 days of follow through. So that's one of the ideas which is there. In the same category, your Delta Airlines, and if you look at like on a longer term weekly kind of setups, like you'll see that again it's caught in a range, but we are looking at immediate trade kind of a 2 to 3 day kind of a trade. here, like, and that's the kind of trade we are looking at, where like, and it did make around 7 or 8% move in 3 days. So that's the kind of thing, or even here it made. But there's a established trend here intensity. It still doesn't have established trend intensity, in the sense this is not really green. But that's one of the ideas. Then you have SHLX. Again, look at the earnings date. I think the earnings for this is in next couple of days. So but this is a very nice setup in terms of like very compact action. This is the first leg of the move, orderly pullback, sideways move, and then it is breaking out. So that's one of the trades. Brookdale Senior Living. Now this is again a kind of stocks or setups which I don't really get into, because they don't have established trend intensity, but sometimes this kind of setups also work. Again, stock has this first leg, very orderly sideways move, and is breaking out. Again, you're not looking at buying it for a position trade or a longer term thing. We're looking at 3 to 5 days, 8 to 10% kind of a move, and for that this kind of a setup can still work. So those are the four ideas which are there. None of them are basically with trend intensity, so something which I like. So I am not really into any of these ideas as of now. On the short side, you'll see that the selling pressure has been increasing, and the auto parts sector has had this one down move, then counter trend bounce, and now breaking out. And you'll see a lot many stocks in that particular sector are also breaking down. So this is likely to have a follow through. Then you have Expery Corporation. Again, stock had a big breakdown, first leg, second leg, now a counter trend bounce which has failed. Or there's a range expansion. Again, biotechnology stocks, you'll see that today the biotechnology stocks were reversing. So for a swing trade, we are looking at like some of these stocks which are breaking down. Even this stock is breaking down. A lot of these stocks are making new high and breaking down, or they're breaking down after a counter trend move, like this one is breaking down. You have BWA, which is again in the auto parts sector, and you'll see a lot many auto parts sectors stocks have broken down, and that's why you can like and basically look at that sector as the ideas for short selling. Akao, which is a biotechnology play, which made a big move here, like, and it had a down move, again trying to make a counter trend move, or it's basically range, and then there's a large range expansion, so likely to have a down move. IDCC, which is broken down here, big volume drop. There's a counter trend bounce, and now that bounce is likely failing. Clovis, again, if the biotechnology stocks follow through on selling, then you will find that these are the kind of stocks. Cetal Genetics, another one which is going, and you'll see some of these big consumer defensive sector stocks also are breaking down in the last 2-3 days. So this is one of the ideas, and you see many other stocks in the sector are breaking down. Or breaking down means like you're not looking at it again from a position trading point of view. From a swing trading point of view, they are pulling back, or they are having their bounce is being faded. Similarly, auto parts, which is another sector, another stock. This is an IPO which made a big move, and now it is breaking down, or had a range expansion. And typically stocks move in the direction of range expansion. Here there was a big range expansion, and then the stock moved for 2 to 3 days. So 2 to 3 days is what you're looking at. Basically 3 to 5 days kind of moves on this. So these are the ideas, which you have 4 long ideas and around 12 ideas, and overall the market is challenging for follow through on the long side, at least in the last 2 or 3 days, where number of breakouts have not really had a follow through, or they have basically been faded either next day or third day, or intraday itself, or second day. So that's the kind of environment in which we're looking at, for especially for buying breakouts. It's a little bit tricky, so you have to be more selective. So that's where we are in the market, and you have to look at opportunities daily and look at the picture changing in daily. I don't see the market at the moment. There is not enough indicator to show that this move is over. It's just a pullback, because there was a strong move of 3 to 4 days. So you're getting some sort of a pullback, and also in the larger context of where the bread trends happen, what you see is narrowing of participation in the rally, as the rally has gone up a lot, and now there is just a consolidation period. That consolidation period can either end in the breakout to the upside, or a long consolidation period like what we had last year of 6-7 months, and then a breakdown. So those are all possibilities, but ultimately we look for buy and sell ideas in the setups which we look for, and as long as buy and sell setups show up, that's what matters. So you have to look at your own setups and look for buy and sell ideas in those setups in the stock market. The stock market is range bound. If you see from March onward, like after making this move, it's been just going sideways as of now.